Hello, everybody. I'm just a couple seconds early. I want to make sure that everything's working. I'm trying a new software and I just want to make sure that everything's going okay. So I should be live on Facebook and YouTube. It's saying that I am streaming on there, but I wonder if I really am. I'm going to see if somebody comes on here and I'm also sure. Okay, so it's saying that I'm live on YouTube and Facebook. I am going to be, I'm not really sure how the comments, let me see if I can get chat to pull up. Let's see, I don't want it to be an overlay. So I guess I'll see comments as they come up here. At least I hope I do. So just bear with me. I'm so sorry. If this is a mess, but we're going to give this a try. I'm hoping this works out. And anyway, so we're going to start holiday ideas. And I had a couple of projects and then I was out of something. And so I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And but I think this is going to be really fun. So this is a reasonable craft, but there are so many uses for these little things, and I thought this would be really fun. So today we are going to be working with seed pots, and they are great for I love these. I do florals in them and that type of thing. You can decoupage on them. You can paint them up, all of that. But we're going to turn one of these into a bell today. And so I thought that would be a fun little use because they're a cute little shape. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my project camera and you are going to be able to see that. And then I'll just be over in the right-hand corner over here. So let me see if this is working. It takes just a second. Let's see if I can pull my project over. 1 second. So sorry. It was working. There we go. Okay, we're here. All right, guys. So if you pop on here, say hello. Hopefully I'll be able to see comments. And if not, just know that I will go back and read your comments and answer any questions that you might have. And so let's get started. So we are going to be using the seed pot, and I'm going to move my keyboard out of the way. So you're going to need a seed pot, a seed pot. These are Burpee. They came in 18 to a pack for just a few dollars. And I think I got them at Tractor Supply, but I'm sure Walmart or any of your garden centers will have them. I'm going to be using 2 molds by IOD. I'm going to be using the Blitz mold, and I'm going to be using the Trimmings 3 mold, and I may even be using the Snowflakes mold. So I've got them all out here. I'm going to be using silver acrylic paint. This is just a basics acrylic paint. I got some brushes, a glue spreader. I think I am good to go. And then I've got some little things here, some ribbon, a jingle bell. So I think this will be fun. So the first thing that I did was I went ahead and painted the inside in the silver, and that's drying right now. So while that's drying, we're going to make up our molds. I thought that it would be good to have a little trim around the bottom. And then I thought we'd do one of these big snowflakes up on top, maybe a smaller one, just to give it that dome shape. So let's see how this goes. I haven't made these before, and I thought we'll just give it a go. All right. So while this is drying, let's make our molds. So I'm going to be using air dry clay. This one happens to be by Das. And I've got a little cornstarch. This is super moist right now. And so I'm going to just put a little cornstarch in my mold with a little brush. Let me get a little brush. And this is going to help me to get my clay to release easy from my mold. Okay. So I'm going to just brush a little bit in here, and then we'll flip it over and turn it upside down. I just want to get on those edges. Sometimes the clay is so moist that you don't want it to be too dry, but you also don't want it to be so moist that you can't get it to release, and then you have to start all over. Okay. So we're going to, let's see, I am not seeing any comments, so I'm not sure if anybody's here. So please just know that this is a new streamer for me, and I'm going to, okay, so I will we're just going to go with it, but I will read comments and answer any questions you may have. So I'm going to do like a little snake, and I'm going to pull it here, and then I'm going to put a little more in here. I've got way more clay than I need. That's always my issue, but I'm just going to do this. And then what I like to do is I like to take my brayer, and especially because these rolls of clay together, my table's probably shaking, and I'm going to put this down like this, and you can see where it's starting to expose that micro rim, which is what you really want to be able to do. And so I am going to just roll it like this and get it. It also makes a really good impression in the clay, so you're going to get great details. And then I'm going to start to pull away, or I have a little card over here. What did I do with that? Did I put it underneath here? I don't know. Let me grab a little card that I have. This is just a little, you can use anything, a putty knife, anything, but I just have these little cards. So I'm going to back away. Let me pull it away this way. I'll go in one direction, and I'm removing that excess clay. I'm going to go this way to the edge, right? And then you can smooth it out with a little bit of water on your fingers. I got a little too heavy-handed right there, so I'll just run my brayer over that and do that. But you really want that lip to be exposed, this little line that borders your mold. And so that's what you want to do. So I'm going to scrape just a little more gently here and push down. I hope that, I don't want that to be too thin because it'll weaken there and then it will break. But I think I'll be okay. I'll push some of this clay in there. And I think that's pretty good. I've got a lot of extra in here. And so I'll just lift that up because we can reuse that for the next one. Okay. So I like to turn my mold upside down and pull the mold from the clay. So I'm going to do this a little slowly here, just like this. I got a little, I don't mind too much imperfection in them. So we're going to go ahead. So for this one, I think I want this one on the bottom of this. So I'm going to get out my glue. I'm going to be using Tite Bond's Quick and Thick glue, and I'm going to try to put it up over here in a corner. Hi, Sandy. I do see your comment, so that's awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And I see that you're on YouTube. Thank you. And I'm going to use, I have a little glue spreader. This is just a little silicone glue spreader that I got. And I'm going to turn this over and gently put this in my hand, lay it along my hand. It's a little thick right there. And I'm just going, I like these because it does allow me to go edge to edge, and I can smooth my glue on pretty quickly. Let me know if I'm off camera. I can adjust that. So Sandy, if you're just joining, we are making bells out of seed pots, or a bell today. And then tomorrow when I take a picture and share the finished project with you, I'll show you another way to use these seed pots that you've done up with in another way. So because you get a pack of 18, and you can probably get them for less. Tractor Supply, when I was there, I've had these for a very long time, couple of years, and I'm still going through them. I like to, like I said, I like to use them for a variety of things. So I'm going to get my glue all the way down here. This is pretty long. And now I'm just going to start it. I think I'll start with the seam. There's a little seam on here. I'm going to gently lay this down. Try not to break it. I still have wet paint. I'm going to cover, I'm going to go to the edge, but I'm going to just cover the rough edge of the seed pot. Okay, so I have a little time to work with this. So I'm going to smooth that in place right there. And then I'm just going to take that and I'm going to, right where it meets, I'm just going to go right there, use it as like a little knife and remove this extra piece. Okay. And then I'm just going to push these together a little bit with my fingers. We're going to be painting these up, so you're not going to notice. Right now, it's just looking more like a garden pot, but I think I've got an idea for how we're going to make it more of a bell shape. So now I have this mold applied here, and I'm going to just set this aside, but it's glued in place. I'm just going to press it. You might have to go from behind and gently press so that you don't mess up the details in the mold, but you're also making sure that you have good contact all the way around your seed pot. Okay. And so the next mold that I want to do is I want to do a topper for this. And so I thought that I could use, I was trying to decide, do I want to use like this great big one? But I think I'm going to use this one because I'd also like to put a mold on the actual seed pot. So again, I'm going to brush a little cornstarch in here just to make sure that I get a good release on here. Are you already Christmas crafting, or are you just focused on Thanksgiving coming up? Let me know. And for the store, I mean, I've been doing Christmas for a while now. And so, but there's still more to do because, Thanksgiving is just next week. So, all right. So I'm going to flip that over. Now for this one, when I've got a lot of details on these molds, like right up in here, here's what I do. You can try this and see if it helps you. If you've ever struggled with getting all the way to the edge of your mold, you can do this too. I'm going to put a little bit of clay at each of these, like the pointy parts of the snowflake, just a little bit. And then I'll put a ball in the center, and then I'm going to roll it out with my brayer. And when you're using the brayer, it's helping the mold or the clay to not be broken up in bits, right? So it helps to join the clay that you're using. So I'm going to lay this out kind of like mini biscuits or mini pancakes. And then I'm going to take some more and I'm going to go right in here, just like that. So I've got these pieces. It looks like a little flower right now, but then I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to meld all of this together, just like this. It also helps me to get a more even surface on the back. And so I'm going to start doing this, and then I can start to pull away using my thumb. I keep it like on the side, and I'm pulling away from my mold like this. And I think another cute surface instead of seed pots is you could use those Dollar Tree plastic wine glasses. And that was what I was going to use today, but I could not find my little saw that I used to take off the stem. And so I'm going to just come in here and just keep working with it, get it really pushed down in there. And now I feel like I can scrape away from the edges. Okay, and then I'll just roll over with my brayer one more time, just to smooth that down a little bit. And then I'm just going to clear this up just a little bit. Just clean that up so I don't have any raggedy edges. Okay, right here, I need to expose that lip. And here, just the rims are so helpful. And so we'll just smooth that down a little bit more. Okay, and so now I'm going to turn this over and lift this out, get some of that clay back, and hopefully it's going to lift out really well because I did put my cornstarch in there, but sometimes they are a little tricky. So when that happens, I have this little paddle spatula. I think it's just like part of like a pottery carving set or a clay tool. And I can just kind of help it out like this. You've been making ornaments for your grandkids. Oh, that sounds great. I started, we do an ornament exchange in our family. And, we've got our granddaughter, and this is her second Christmas, but I'm starting that too, making this a tradition to make an ornament for her every year. So I'm going to, last year I made her one of the little, with the gingerbread molds, I made her a little ginger girl. So I'm just struggling with this a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay. So I think we're going to be all right. So my idea is to center this here. But before I do that, I want to use my awl, and I want to poke a little hole, and it'll make sense in a little bit. So I'm going to try to center this up as best as I can. And I'm going to put my fingers in there and make sure that I'm not like right over the center so I don't hurt myself. And I'm just going to make a little hole in here. And this will make sense in a little bit. I hope it'll make sense. At least I think it's going to make sense. Okay. So now I'm going to take this and let's get some glue on here. I'll probably need some new, because the Quick and Thick really is quick. And so it's already started to dry out a little bit here. So we're going to do this. How old are your grandkids, Sandy? If it's okay to say on here, if you don't mind, how old are they and how many do you have? Boys, girls? So let me go here. I'm very excited to have a little person in our family again. It just makes, Christmas is always such a beautiful time of year anyway, but there's something just magical about it with kids. So I'm really, really excited for this season of our life where we get to do this. So, all right. So I'm just spreading this glue here on here. And let's see. Okay, I don't see any comments. So I think I don't see any comments on Facebook. So let's see. And then we've got here, I'm going to be, if somebody is watching on Facebook, I know you would have commented if you wanted to, but I'm wondering if somebody could just say hello, just so, and I won't ask you to comment again, but I would love to know if you can hear me and see me. It looks like it's going well, but I don't know. So 21, 20, 17, and 16, 3 boys and 1 girl. Wow, you are so blessed. So let's do this. Okay. And what I want to do is I thought I would just kind of center this as best as I can on here. And I'm going to push this down in place, and I'm going to fold these over just like this and give our bell a little bit of a topper. And I don't know if that's still going to be enough. So I thought we could add a smaller one on top just to give it a little height. So let's just try this one of these tiny ones. Which one should I do? I think I'll just do this little thing just so it has like a little bit of a bump up at the top. Oh, Kim, I love that you're a chatty Cathy, and I think that's great. I think it depends, Kim. It depends on like what I'm making. Am I working on something that needs to be super flexible, like this rounded, seed pot, or what do I need? And so for something like this, I prefer the clay. For something that I'm wanting to do for something outdoors, I prefer resin. And often if I'm adding to hardware, like, embellishing hardware or something like that for furniture or a project, I also prefer to use resin when I can. I forgot to put the cornstarch in here, so it's going to stick. So let's do a different one. and I will put my cornstarch in here. And thank you for letting me know that Facebook's working okay and that I can see comments from both channels. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to just do this. Let's just get a little bit in there, and we'll do this one as a topper. I think the round one would have been better, but I'm going to have to. Now, if you're ever in this situation and you did that and you really just don't have a lot of time, you can take your heat tool and dry the clay out in your mold. Your molds are safe for heat up to, I think it's 500 degrees. Let's just be safe and say 400 degrees. So you can, rub your heat tool over it and it'll dry out the clay enough for you to be able to remove it. But we're just going to keep doing this. So let's see if this makes a little bit of a difference. It does add a little bit of more of a bell shape because of, it just gives it that little bump up. So let's go ahead and apply this. I need to move this thing. Hold on one second. Okay, let me move this out of the way because my screen is a mess and I will run it. So I have a little wireless keyboard when my laptop is up on the stand when I'm doing this. And so I need my mouse sometimes. All right, so let's go ahead and put this in the center as well. We might even add something else. I don't know, but I think it's going to work. Not all bells have to be, all of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that hole. You can see that hole right there. And I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to hold my finger up there and I'm going to just push through. Pray that I got this in the center. I did pretty good. I'm going to hold my mold in place and I'm going to come up through here. And I want to do this like this. Okay. And now I'm going to go down the other side this way. And I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger because I'm going to want some ribbon to go in here as well. Right. Or at least a string or something. So it's also getting pretty heavy. And so let's just do one more little mold. I was trying to think I thought about doing a snowflake. What have I got that would fit with all of that? I could do something else, but I think I'll try this one. Let's try this one, and then we'll be all done making molds, okay? So I'm going to come in here, and then we're going to just get that one more mold, you guys. I wanted to have all of these done before I went live, but it didn't happen. Okay. So I'm going to turn this over here, just like this, and we're going to just make this one more mold. All right. Oh, I've got a little leftover something in there, and that'll ruin my details. So let me make sure it's pretty cleaned out everywhere else too. I'm not always the best about cleaning out my molds, you guys, right after I use them. So let's try this. I'm going to make sure that this is in there. That's probably more than I need. That's more than I need. That's probably more than I need. Let's see how I do. All right, let's go ahead and roll this out and see. I'll hold it down here. Push it down into those grooves. I find the little tiny areas. I love the detail on IOD molds. Sometimes the little fine tips can be challenging to come out. So that's, it's a little easier with resin because you can use a Q-tip to push it down into those areas. Let's just do another little tip like this. So the brayer has really helped me to get better molds. So you can try that. If it's a little too moist on top, you can use some plastic wrap. over it, just place a piece of plastic wrap or wax paper or something like that. And then you can go from there. All right. So let's go ahead and remove this one. See how we do. I'm afraid I'm going to lose some of those teeny tiny little points. This would have been a good one to go on top and then add this little one, but we've already done it. So we're going to go with it. All right. One more mold to glue. And then we will get to the painting. Let me turn this over here. Okay. So I just want to be really gentle. It's so easy to get a little heavy-handed and then mush all your details. And we don't want to do that. Okay. Let's do that. I also found some really neat glue brushes at the Dollar Tree. They look like this, and they come in a pack of 5. And I like them. I think I'm going to use it as a paintbrush because the surface of the seed pot is not really even. But I like them because they come in a pack of 5 for $1.25. And so if I ruin one, I don't like to use my good brushes for glue or anything sticky, right? Okay, so let's see where we can put this on here. I think I'm going to go ahead and have it just kind of line up here in the middle. Let's see if I can get this to come over and I can position this bell like this. You could do one on the other side as well if you wanted to, and I'm going to gently push that in place. Okay, so this acrylic paint in here is dry. So I think I'm going to hit this with the heat gun a little bit just because it's super, super moist. And then we can begin the painting out. We're going to do a 2-color finish on this, and then we will go into the finishing touches of it. So, but I like that. I like that little detail. Now, if you wanted to do something like this opposite, it does make a cute little pot. And so I'll show you tomorrow how I use these to put little Christmas trees in when they're decorated. So let's just hit this with a heat gun a little bit, just to make sure it's a little bit dry before I start adding all of that wet paint to it. Okay. Our grandbaby is coming tomorrow, and so I'm super excited. Okay. All right, I'm just going to kind of I just want to kind of go over all of it with a little bit of heat. See if I can't get some of the moisture to come out. Okay, and then I'm going to hold it here and just dry out a little bit on the inside too. You want to be a little careful because these are a little bendy. They become a little stiffer and less bendy once they're painted and dry, but they are really, paper. But I think they'll be really pretty hung in a garland. Okay, it's a little drier, so I feel more comfortable about it. Let me grab see if I can find a round brush, something. Do I have a good round brush? I've got this one, and I'll do this one and this one and this one. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to base coat this in silver. Now, tomorrow when this is completely dry, it may look a little different because it may have some cracking or something like that. So if that's the case, I can always fill in with some silver paint or some white paint depending on this, but we're going to go ahead and do this wet. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little on here, and I'm going to just paint the whole thing. I have some makeup sponges that might work. I'll use my round brush to get in there too, but we're going to paint everything out in silver. Now you could just paint your whole seed pot silver before you add your molds, and that would be okay too. But you can use any metallic paint you have. I'd say you could use Rub and Buff for this, except that we are, we're going to be putting another paint finish on top of this. So I'm going to use my round brush for the molds because it has a little bit of a tip to it. And so I'm just going kind of in a circular motion. I've got a gentle touch that I'm doing here. And so we've got that. And it allows me to get up there if you've got a pointy brush. And like I said, these details are so in there. And I thought I could add like a little, who knows, I may add like, I don't know. If I do anything extra to it after this, then I'll tell you what I did. But I think these are super cute. So let's go here and get this done. And again, this is just a silver paint. You could also spray paint them. I've never spray painted the molds when they're wet. So I don't know, you might need, if that's the case, you might need to let it dry. And I was going to do these in gold, but I've got this beautiful satin silver ribbon. And so I kind of decided that's what inspired the colors, but just a 2-color. So the molds are going to be what take you the longest to paint because you want to get in all of those details, right? And let's see. Okay, we're coming in here and here. So if anybody wants to say, are you at home? Are you in your own home for Thanksgiving? Are you traveling? Does everybody come to you? Do you go to everybody? Is it just going to be nice and quiet? We, our son and daughter-in-law and grandbaby, so they alternate holidays. So if they spend, so we alternate. We spend Thanksgiving with them one year, and that means that year they're spending Christmas, the actual Christmas holiday, with their family in Pennsylvania, and then it alternates the following year. So, I mean, we still celebrate Christmas together, but it just might not be on the actual day. And I think that as long as we get to celebrate at some point, that is absolutely fine. It's just the way it goes when you have, when they have their own homes and their own lives and all of that, and we don't live next door to each other. All right, so this does take a little while, guys. And so this is a little porous, and so this is what I meant. If I take this stiff brush, this glue brush, I can spread that paint along this fairly quickly. And I don't even mind if a little bit of the brown is showing through because it'll just kind of look old, right? I don't know. It's a good thing that I really do love old because I say that a lot, and I feel like, oh, that's just an excuse for, not finishing it or not getting it right. But it's really worked in my favor. So I'm very grateful that I like old and worn things. So, all right, I'm going to go here. We're almost done, but you can see now it's starting to look like it's all in the, the one piece. So I think I just have a little bit, I've just got the top bit to do. So let's get that done. And then we'll dry it up and we'll add our actual bell elements to it after we put that next coat on. So you could leave it silver. I'm going to do a little bit of white paint over it. But you could absolutely just leave it in a metallic color. It's pretty. All right, so we're getting in here. Is this the most boring thing in the world to watch somebody like paint out molds? So I tried to have it done before. It just didn't get that far. Okay. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad. I thought it would be pretty. I like it with the molds. Molds can make just about anything look fabulous, right? And you can paint them out and then they just look so good. Okay. So let me make sure I didn't miss. I think I did pretty good. And since this is the base color, I think that's okay. So this is what it looks like when it's all painted out. I still have some little areas that I want to pay a little more attention to. Let me see if I can get it with that stiff brush. It's just because the seed pot is porous and not really yeah, we're going to call that good. So let's dry this up a little bit. Let me get I didn't bring any water for my brushes, so that's going to be an issue, but that's okay. All right. So we've got this and we're going to go ahead and dry this up. Oh, they're all coming to you. That's great. So does everybody bring a dish or do you do it all? Hi, Kim. How are you? My other Kim. Thank you for popping on. I so appreciate it. I loved your demonstration today so much, Kim. I'm going to get one of those pins when I get your link and then give it a try. Maybe I can renew my exercise. I think it's such a relaxing thing to do. So Kim is with Kim Sminky is on here, and she's with Lolly Doodle Studios, Widow on Fire, and she is a watercolor and hand lettering artist. And she gave a demonstration today in a group that we're in, and it was fabulous. So, all right, let's see. I hope I didn't ruin my hole in there, but we're going to dry this up a little bit. And so you can't tell. It really does look, the seed pot, you're very welcome, Kim. The seed pot looks as if it was always like this. So, it doesn't look like a seed pot with molds on it anymore. So it looks like it's starting to make sense. I do wish this was a little more prominent up here, but we're just going to go with it and figure out what we can do. Okay. You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Kim. There's only 10 of you. Okay. So that's really nice. So we are 5 with the grandbaby. And right now at this stage of life, if we're cooking, I do the cooking, although, everybody's always happy to help with something. And yeah, it's nice. I remember when I was growing up, we used to celebrate at my grandmother's house, and all the aunts and everybody, aunts and uncles and everybody would bring something to contribute to the dinner. And it was always really good. So, okay. So now that this is, so you can see, I think it's, like I said, you could just leave it just as is, just like this, and it would be absolutely fine. But I'm going to, and now I'm kind of thinking, this is the ribbon that I have that I'm going to use. So it's a satin ribbon. It's a 1-inch satin ribbon. And so just know you could leave it just like this. And I might make some that are just like this, but I am going to put a little bit of a dry brushing of a white paint. This is actually something I had in my stash. And I thought, gosh, I might as well get it out and use it. So for this, I'm going to use a bigger brush, and we're going to do a little bit of a dry. I'm going to leave it silver inside though. So I am going to do that. So hi, Flea, how are you? Thanks for saying hello and popping on. We are working with seed pots today and turning them into Christmas bells. So I'm going to take off some of my paint And it's going to take me a little bit to figure out like but I want to dip some off, and then I'm going to just give it a little bit of this. I don't think it's going to be much of a contrast really. So, because that's silver. So I might have wanted to do something, I don't know, like a glaze. So we're just going to make them kind of old and worn. And so I'm finding out that on this, it works best to take my brush and let the texture of the seed pot work in my favor. Okay, so I'm going to dry brush over here. And it might be kind of cool to do some dark wax on this as well, like in a mercury color or something like that, like something a little bit darker. And we might even be able to do a little bit of dry brushing of that as well. So I want to go over the top of this just a little bit. You can barely see it, but it does lighten it up. And the two color contrast to me gives it a little bit more interest. Sheila, you are never late. Thank you so much for joining. That's the beauty of replay, right? And it's such a busy time of year for everyone. And okay, so Sheila, we're making bells out of seed pots today and some IOD molds. All right, so let's dry this up. And then I'm going to see if I think I need to do a little something extra with this. I don't know. I kind of wish that I had gone much darker. So I may just do a little, I don't know. Let's think about that. Or let me know if you have any suggestions while I'm doing that. So I think it's really pretty. It'll be really subtle, but I want to, maybe I'll just go over the mold details a little bit more with some more silver, and we'll see how we do with that. Okay. And I think I would maybe want to put another mold on the other side as well. Okay, let's see what we've got here. It's not going to be completely dry, and I'm making a huge old mess, but that's okay. That's okay, right? All right. And I asked, but for everybody who came on, are you traveling for Thanksgiving, or are you staying at home? Do you host? How does that work for you this year? Okay, let me see if this is dry enough. All right, so I'm going to let this dry up a little bit more. And so I'll set this right here. And then I've got a couple of things that I wanted to do. So let me see. I've got some velvet ribbon. I think I've got a silver bell too in my stash of bells. I do have a silver bell. So let's just use that one. And I won't do a bunch of them because I'm not going to do more than one because it's not going to ring really. But I mean, I guess when you shake it, it's going to do something, right? So we've got this, and I've got this silver bell. And the thing I was trying to figure out is, do I just want to do the ribbon up there? How do I want to tie the bells in? Because I also, to make it more of an ornament type thing, I could pop this thing. This is an ornament topper. And that way it would make a great little ornament for the tree. So I think let me see if I can pull this off. I'm kind of, like I said, I haven't done these before, so I'm kind of trying to figure it out as I go along. What do you guys think about something like that? If it was like that, do you think that works? And then I would pull my ribbon up through there. What do you think? Does that work? Let me know what you think, and I'll see what I can do. All right. I'm going to, all right, let me first think through this. So I know I'm going to have something that goes down here, but if I use this, I'm going to want I'm definitely going to want a ribbon. And so how do I want to do that? I know I'm going to need a knot underneath, but I think what I'm going to do is start with this. Oh, my hands are awful. I had some string. I had some, I just had it here. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Hello. So this is, you like the look of the ornament topper? Okay, great. Thank you, Felicia. All right, let's try that. So I'm going to take a little bit, this is just the silver cord, and I got this because of all of the resin IOD molds. So this little cord is, what is it? It's, oh, it doesn't say what the millimeters, but it's just basically metallic baker's twine. And I got it off of Amazon. And so I'm going to cut a length of this and see, I'm going to give myself enough to play with. Where are my scissors? Hold on one second. All right, I've got these little scissors. All right, so I'm going to give myself enough to play with because I want to be able to tie the bell as well. And so I'm just going to see what I got. So I'm just going to cut a length of it. And because I'm going to be halving it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my little thing back in here so that we will use it as a, so we will use this for this too. In here, I think I'm going to have to do that. Yeah. All right. I'll figure it out. Let's see what I can do here. So I want to get my twine. I want to get my twine to come through. I'm probably going to have to take this out again. Let me take this out again so that it's not so fidgety to work with. Okay. So I'm going to pull that out and we'll pop that back in. So I want to get, these are a little frayed right here on the end. So I'm going to do that. And then let's see if I can, it would help if I could wash my hands. Oh my gosh. I'm going to see if I can pull this through without stripping the metallic. Okay, I did. All right. And so now what I want to do is I want to push this through this hole. And I'm going to have to take the fray away again. This isn't the most expensive, fabulous baker's twine in the whole wide world, but I'm going to push this through here. Maybe it would be easier to thread it this way through the hole. Let's see if I can get it to go. I don't know. It's kind of long and it would probably be easier if I could do that. But I think I'm going to have to push them in here. And I have my little awl. And so while this is still a little pliable, I'll give myself a little more room to work with. And I'm going to push this down in here. See if I can get something to help push it down in there. Use my awl. Now let's see if I can pull it through here. I got to be able to grab it. Am I going to get it? I think I'm only getting one. All right. So this is a little tricky, you guys, because it is a little thick, but I think I've got both pieces in there now, and now I can pull it. Let's see. I want to get this little piece. So now I'm going to try to go in here and grab it. I've got this little piece, and if I had a little pair of tweezers, I think I could get it to work. So let's push this one down. Through that hole too, right? Yay. Okay. Now they're both in there. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is decide how much of a thing I want. And I'm going to go ahead and I think that's going to be about good. I think that's going to be good. Right? Okay. So I'm going to carefully lift this up and I'm going to put some glue on the top here. And then I'm going to stick this into the clay. Ugh, doesn't want to come out. I'm just winging this, you guys. Let me spread that out so that it will be, Oops, I don't want to get that all that glue in my mold. I just want to go kind of in here. I would say hot glue this, but I don't have my glue gun out or ready to go. So we're not going to do that. So I'm going to just try to center it in here. And the nice thing is that I can push it into the clay. And then I'm just going to try to clean up where I got all this glue. See if I can get some of that glue out. Okay. So I also want to just make this a little bit more even. All right. So far we're doing okay, right? And then I've got to figure out, I'm going to need a knot. So I'm going to pull this right here. How am I going to do that? All right, here's what I'm going to do because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully I won't ruin my thing, but I just want to hold this in place so I don't pull it through, and because it was hard enough to get in there. So I'm going to give it this much, and I'm just going to put a little piece of tape down here, right here, just to hold it and keep it from going through like that, just to hold it. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and one is already longer than the other, and I'm going to tie a knot that goes all the way to the hole on the inside. This is how I'm thinking about it. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay, so I want to make sure that the string just can't pull right up through the hole. So I have a little knot in there. It wasn't easy. I probably should tie a second one, but I'm not going to. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the longer of these, and I'm going to have to, I really needed longer, but I didn't do that. So let's get this guy in here, and I'll cut the other one off. Ugh. So I'm going to have to put a little piece of tape on that too to make it stop fraying. And let's see if I can tape it. I'm worried I won't be able to get the tape off. Oh, how am I going to do that? All right, let's see if I can use this longer one instead. And I want to get this to go here. That works a little bit better. Yeah, the longer one was better. Okay, and then I'm going to just take this other little one, and I'm going to tie it here. It's a little tricky. I hope it was worth it putting the bell in. I'm not sure, but we'll see if we like it. All right, so I'm going to tie a little knot here, and then that bell is going to hang. This is, at least that's what I'm thinking, you guys. I think it's going to hang. So it does. And so what I've got to do now is trim off that little, and it would probably look better if it were, I'm going to see if you can see this, if it were hanging down a little bit lower. But like I said, this is the first time I've made them, and I don't know how it's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this tape. It's pretty strong artist tape. So let me get this tape off of here. And then I'm going to have to figure out, I want to make sure that that isn't going to pull through. I probably should have done the knot up there, but, and then I'm pulling this. So hold on, let me cut this off because I'll be able to hide this. So I'm going to go here. All right. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue in there because I think that's going to pull. Oh, actually that tape is going to make a nice stopper. So while I've got it here, I'll secure this better with a little hot glue. But while I have this here, I'm going to dab a little glue in here. I would hot glue this, and I'd probably seal that little hole from the bottom. I'll probably put a dab of hot glue in there when I get my heat gun going. Okay, but also my ribbon is going to help. All right, so we have this just like this. We've got our bell. We have that inside. I need to trim the little piece off, but I need to make sure I've got a really good knot, and I want to hot glue that too, just a little bit of hot glue. So I'll take care of that later. But then what I thought to finish it off is we could use this really pretty satin ribbon that I have. It is a little wide, but I think it's really pretty. And I want to try it. And what I thought I could do is just tie a little, oh, look at my hands. All that glue is a mess. Okay. So, oh, you guys, I've made such a mess. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pull this satin ribbon off. And I thought we could finish it with something like that. We'll tie a bow or just a knot around that. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to finish that off. We'll go ahead and, I don't know, I could also do it, like kind of fold it in half. I'm going to go ahead and start it. And then I'll mess with it. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. So I'm going to do it this way. That way I'm not fiddling with the fingers on that. Oh, I think that ribbon is really pretty. Okay, so we'll fluff that out a little bit. Just like that. And then we'll just cut it. How do I want that cut? Let's see what we've got. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. I'm going to just do my little, how long do I want my tails? I think I'm going to make them, I'll make them longer and then see if I want something a little shorter. I'll save that. And then we'll do this one here. And so it looks like that, kind of, except I can move my ribbon like that. So I've got a little hot gluing to do to secure it. And then I also want to see if I can get maybe just a little bit of age in the mold because it's just not popping as much as I would like it to. So I think I'm going to just take, let's do a little more silver that would stand out a little bit, okay? And so I'm going to put a little on my finger. And then just to make it pop a little bit more, I'm just going to rub it. I'm going to pour some out here. So kind of like using it like a silver wax. I don't think I have any silver wax. Oh, I do have some Rub and Buff. So I could use that on these too. But let's just bring out the molds a little bit more on this. Yes, a little hot glue. I should have gotten my hot glue out, Felicia, but I didn't. And so like, you know, when you do something for the first time, you just start making mental notes about how you want to do it the next time, right? And I wouldn't have put my beautiful ribbon on there knowing that I was going to be putting paint all over it either. So that's okay. So yeah, we're just going to add a little more silver sparkle. I have a pewter Rub and Buff too, so I may try that. And like I said, if I do end up doing that, I'm going to let all of this dry a little bit. Then I will be sure to tell you what I did when I share the pictures tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, that's where we're at. So I don't know. Let me know. Would you do this? Would you use seed pots as bells, or would you say, no way am I doing that? I saw what Michelle did, and I'm not going through that. Okay, good, Sandy. I'm so glad. So I've got some hot gluing to do, and I've got a little bit of wax to do as well. And but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you're inspired to try something, you know, like this and make your own little bells. And I just think they're fun. And I'm so excited that it actually does ring. So that made me really happy. And so it was actually like a real little jingle bell, not just, you know, not just a little fake ones. So we got our bell, we got that. So anyway, I'm going to get to hot gluing, and let me see if I can move this over. See if this works. I don't know if it will. Let's see. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, everybody. So here's to Jingle Bells. And I may be on, I'm going to be, I'm trying, if I can, I'm going to make my pie crust with you with the molds on Wednesday next week. But anyway, until then, if I don't see you next week, I am wishing you the happiest of Thanksgivings, the best week. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you soon. Have a great rest of the week. Happy Thanksgiving. Um, Take care, everybody. Happy creating. All right. Bye bye.